This is TWiT. Actually, it's fun. In a way, we also celebrated this week the 20th anniversary of the original iMac. And it's fun, which was, I think, on Sunday. It's fun to think about where Apple was 20 years ago compared to right now. 21 years ago, when Steve Jobs came back to Apple, it was just a few $1 million away from bankruptcy. So everything that's happened in the last 21 years has been remarkable.
And then shortly after, it was as if Steve had just started where he left off. You know, it was kind of a, he left with the Mac and came back, and he just went, and then we're going to do the Mac again. You know, and
he drew that famous quadrant where he said, you know, because they had dozens of products at the time, and he said, you know, and by the way, they were also selling clones when Steve came back, right? He killed that immediately, drew the quadrant, said we're going to have professional, consumer, portable, and desktop, 4 products. That's it. And the iMac announcement was the consumer desktop, right? So here I'll put a little bit of Steve here talking about his iMac.
Come on in.
He's bringing in a camera so he can show it off.
You got to see this thing in person, but I'll do the best I can with video. This is iMac. The whole thing is translucent. You can see into it. It's so cool. We've got stereo speakers.
Some of that laughter is probably coming from Apple employees who watched Steve have a fit the day before, according to Walter Isaacson's biography, because he couldn't get it lit right. And he said, we're going to stay here until it looks right. Yeah. He also had a fit over the button on the front of the iMac, because he had been told, he said, John Rubinstein had told him, you're going to have a slot, and then instead it had a drawer. And in fact, he, according to Isaacson, almost canceled the introduction of the iMac the day before over that small point, and only went ahead when Ruby was able to convince him, well, next one will have a slot. Okay, Steve? Okay? Watch how much he loves the handle, too.
We've got infrared right up here. We've got the CD-ROM drive right in the middle. We've got dual stereo headphone jacks. We got the coolest mouse on the planet right
Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, man, it was so...
The worst mouse ever.
Oh, ever. It was the coolest mouse in that it did generate the frostiest reception.
You could say it was cool. You just can't say it was functional, right?
It was a third-party opportunity for other mouse makers.
Yes.
As Apple used to say when they dropped the ball.
There you go.
Come on around. All of the connectors are inside one beautiful little door here, the Ethernet, the USB stuff. Around the back, we've got a really great handle here.
Now, I should point out, this is a 38-pound computer. No one is going to use that handle. But,
well, no, it was just like it was an echo back to the original Mac, so that's part of the design story there's telling. But also, there are times where you actually would like to move a computer from one room to the other, not because it's portable, but because, again, you're in an office and you're sharing, or you're in a school.
But you don't need a handle, Andy, to do that.
Well, yeah, if it's 30 pounds, yeah, you need a handle.
Johnny Ive put the handle in. He was actually a little nervous because this is a very expensive case. I think it was $60 per. And I put the handle in, and he said he was very nervous about what Steve would say. But he said, look, we got to put this here because it communicates that it's friendly and it's easy to shift around. Whether it's functional isn't really the point. And Jobs got it and loved it. What he doesn't mention here is a significant missing piece.
The back of this thing looks better than the front of the other guys, by the way. And then around the side.
Steve.
So let's take one more
Steve.
swing around it so you can see. This is what it looks like. And again, you've got to see one of these things in person.
It was very pretty.
$12.99, G3 at 233 megahertz, had 32 megs of RAM, upgradable to 128 megs, not gigs, 32 megs of RAM. What was missing was a floppy drive. As it turned out, that might have been the biggest story of all, about that and the Bondi Blue, because people didn't make computers in colors back in those days. But the fact that Apple would make a PC without a floppy drive, now, that was the courage I think Phil Schiller was referring to.
I was trying to think of when I stopped using floppy drives, but it was
people were still using them at this time. Yeah, but they put those USB ports on there, and
the
really,
USB,
and the CD, and said and they were right in that case. Ironically, this Mac has 3 headphone jacks.
I mean, I think the last time I seriously used a floppy drive was probably 1995.
Yeah, this is 1998.
Right, so 3 years, it was already kind of dead for...
No, It really wasn't.
Well, for me, no, for me. I'm saying, I was saying,
that's because you were using files that were huge.
Yeah, we were using zip
on
drives
zip
and
drives, right?
SideQuest drives. Remember SideQuest?
Oh, I remember those. Oh, yeah.
Remember the Bernoulli boxes?
Oh, yeah.